And come to standing. Lift and roll the shoulders back. So lifting and rolling the shoulders opens the gateway, the pathway, going up into the head. So it's energy up into the head. And breathing in, bring the hands to the heart center. Press the palms together. Feel the lift at the chest. So that's part of your antidepressant, uplifting. And then dropping the hands and circling the hands up. Really stretch the third fingers and stretch out of your waist and away from your pubic bone. And then palms together, come through the center, soften the knees, and circle up again. Stretch, come through the center, soften the knees, and again stretch. Clasp and reverse the palms up, press the feet into the ground and press the palms away from you. Again, you've got that stretch, lifting out from the waist, which will help your hip. And then your lateral stretch to one side, just bouncing in and out. And then come to the center, stretch up and bounce to the other side. Just feel that you are between two panes of glass so that you are in alignment with the body. Come to the center, just turn slightly to one side. Come to the center, and then just turn slightly to the other side. Come to the center. And then release the hands to shoulder height, and very quickly, as you're opening your heart here, turn to look beyond the third fingers of one hand, it doesn't matter which. Come to the center and turn to look beyond the third fingers of the other hand. Come to the center with the head and lower the arms. Lift and roll the shoulders and place your hands on the waist. You're opening up your space for your lungs, and you're opening under the arms for the upper lymphatic system. Feet perhaps a little bit further apart, hip width apart, and just soften the knees. And as you soften the knees, feel your abdominal muscles engage, and then press the feet into the ground and come up to standing. And then release the hands. Raise the right hand up. So this is for the brain as much as anything else. And circle the wrists in one direction, as well as the wrists, of course, and then the intercostal muscles are stretching on the right side. And then circle the wrists in the opposite direction. And then breathing out, lower the hands, lower the right hand. Lift and roll the shoulders. And then breathing in, raise the left hand. You can hold your thigh, but, well, perhaps not, you're circling one way. And then circle the other way. And then very gently lower the hands. Lift and roll the shoulders. So we're going to come to look at the neck and the shoulders again. Breathing in once more, lift up the right hand. Stretch it up, press the foot down, the right foot. And breathing out, turn to look a little bit or a lot over your left shoulder to where you naturally stop. Take an in and an out breath here. And then breathing in, come back to the center. And when you next breathe out, lower your right arm. Lift and roll that right shoulder back. And then breathing in, raise the left arm, stretching up. When you're ready, breathe out and turn to the right. Stay here for an in and an out breath. And then breathing in, come back to the center. And breathing out, lower the left hand. And lift and roll the shoulders. And then feet a little bit wider than hip width apart, because we're going to come to a very familiar Tibetan movement, but you'll find this in Tai Chi and as well, just twisting from side to side. Just have a sense of just touching your shoulders and following the hand as it goes around the back of the waist. So this is really moving your energy through your body. And just begin to slow down and then begin to just come to standstill. Lift and roll the shoulders and come back to standing feet hip width apart. So this is a breathwork exercise, a mindfulness exercise too. So breathing in, lift the palms upright and out. Breathing, bring the palms back. Turn the palms down, spread your fingers. Breathing in, stretch your arms out. And then bring them back. And then lower. So you follow your own breath pattern, and we'll do this a few times. Palms up and out. Palms come back. Turn down, push away. Come back and lower. Again, up and out. Back, down, back, and lower. Out, back, down, back, and lower. Out, back, down, back, and lower. And we'll make this the last one. Coming out, back, down, back, and lower. Lift and roll the shoulders. And before we come to the mat and stretch out there, just do a very gentle walk. So odd as this might seem, it's setting up a vibration from the soles of the feet to the top of the head. And vibration is the opposite or antithesis of stagnation. And stagnation is what you don't want, when you've got trapped energies in your body. So it's a booster for the immune system. And how much you lift your legs. If you want to power walk, you can really power walk, or just gently do that. And then come to standstill, palms together. And then we're going to come to lying on the mats to start doing some floor work on the back. So unusually, we're going to actually come to lie with legs out. Just sway the ankles from side to side, just to sort of get settled. Palms are down alongside you. And as we breathe in, extend the right foot and raise the right arm up and above you, resting the back of the right hand on the ground. Stay here for an in and an out breath. Breathe in again, and as you breathe out, lower the right arm down alongside you and relax the right ankle and the right buttock. Let it flop out. Engage the left heel by extending it. And when you next breathe in, raise the left hand up, stretching it behind you. If that hurts under the arms or it's too much, just bend the elbow. Let the back of the hand rest there for an in and an out breath. And now when you next breathe out, lower the left arm back down alongside you. And release and relax the left ankle. Just shake your ankles out a little bit. And now engage both feet and raise both arms up and behind you, stretching out. Stay here for an in and an out breath. And when you next breathe out, lower the hands down back alongside you. We're coming back to the right side, extend the right heel, raise the right arm above you, bending at the elbow or not. If you can stretch out, then stretch out. And breathing out, turn the head heavily, the back of the head is resting on the ground, to the left. Just take an in and an out breath here. With the head weight being supported by the ground, it's an easier turn. And then when you're ready, bring your head back on an inhalation. And when you're ready, on an exhalation, it's a natural exhalation, lower your right arm, release and relax your right foot out. And then extending the left heel, gently raise your left arm, bent at the elbow, or you can straighten your arm out, up and behind you. And again, just turn your head, giving the weight of the head to the ground and going across some acupressure points at the back of the head to the right. And stay here for an in and an out breath. And when you're ready, just let the head come back to centre on inhalation. And then when you're ready on an exhalation, lower the left arm back down alongside you. And now bend both knees. Your feet are hip width apart. And you might like to press your feet down to lift your bottom just to straighten out your back. You can just twist slightly. And here there's an option. You can either rest your hands on the abdomen with the elbows out, or you can open your arms like a T alongside you. I'm going to have my hands resting on the abdomen with the elbows out. And you might even feel comfortable having your feet slightly wider apart. You can adjust this at any time. Just very gently let both knees drift over to the right, and your left hip will naturally lift off the ground. Breathing in, press the feet down to bring the knees to upright. And breathing out, very slowly let the knees drift over to the left. Massaging the left top of the bottom and lifting off your right bottom from the ground. Breathing in, bring your feet to upright. And feel if you want to adjust your feet wider apart, then please do so. You can adjust them even as to the width of the mat. So just do that a few times, swaying from side to side. You're massaging across the top of the bottom. You're going to a major acupressure point there. The weight of the pelvis on the ground is giving you the massage, but it's connecting into just letting go. The back isn't being asked by the body to support it. So all the back muscles can start to relax. But the back is in protective mode, so it can take quite some time to relax on the ground before the back, heavy-duty back muscles start to relax properly. And if you want to, if your hands are on your abdomen, the hands are just gently massaging across your abdomen as you're going. And you can also then optionally start to involve your head. So keeping your head heavy on the ground, the head might go away from the direction of the knees if you're being very yogic. And it doesn't matter at all if your head goes in the direction of the knees, which is not quite so yogic, but it's still achieving the same function. You get a great twist or rotation if you go opposite, because your head and neck are being stretched out a little bit more if you drop your knees and the head's in the opposite direction. This movement is very much one of the key movements in somatic movement. There's a whole branch of somatic yoga which I do drop into our yoga sessions, but you might not ever be aware of that. And somatic yoga focuses on the sensation, the feel of the heaviness of the body in this case. And as such, you're bypassing the brain. So the brain isn't really involved so much in the process, and so it becomes a de-stressor, a mindfulness movement, and very much more natural movement for the body. There's nothing forced. So this side-to-side rotational movement that we're doing is one of the 5 back movements that you need for optimal health. But because people with bad backs often can't have cautions on them, this is a very gentle rotation, so it's exploring the most gentle of movements. Just enjoy the side-to-side movement. And we're going to think about gently coming to a stop so that our knees then come to centre. Again, make any adjustments if you need to move your feet, maybe closer together, closer to your bottom perhaps. And just palms down alongside you. We're going to do a couple of pelvic tilts. So that's flattening the back as if you're going to lift your bottom, but you don't. And then going in the opposite directions as the tailbone heads towards the floor and there's a little gap under your back. So again, for lower back issues, this is one of the remedial exercises that you might do at an osteopath, or be given this to do. It's just subtly moving the back and the spine in a different direction. It's very safe because your bottom and your back are being supported by the ground, but you're just getting a slight mobility right on that lower lumbar area, the L4, L5, so you're massaging that area with complete safety and getting movement into the back, loosening up the muscles. And then gently come to stillness, and keeping your right foot where it is, hug your left knee into the chest. And we're going to take a few breaths here with the knee hugged into the chest, static, breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. Your own breath pattern. And you might find as your body relaxes that your knee comes in a little bit more, just releases and relaxes a little bit. And then still holding your left knee, make little circles in one direction, and you'll feel this moving the top of the leg in the hip socket. So the hips are very connected to lower back issues because with life, movement, everything that goes on, we can very subtly misalign, and that misalignment, just change directions with circling your knee, can shorten very imperceptibly the muscles all around holding the leg into the hip socket and impact the lower back. As the muscles shorten fractionally, they pull, and then that pulls you out of alignment, so it can put strain on the lower back. You don't know this particularly, it's just one of those things that happens. So a full rotational movement of hip is really helpful. And then drop your hands to underneath your right thigh, perhaps clasp your hands. You can keep a bend in your knee at all times as you raise the left leg up to the ceiling. Just flex the heel and feel the stretch at the back of the leg. Sort of have the toes upwards but without giving yourself a cramp. And just flex your heels and point your toes a couple of times. And then begin to circle the left ankle a few times in one direction. And circle your ankles a few times in the other direction. And then walk your hands up your back of your left leg. You might this time only come to your calf. Just bring your legs slightly towards you. You can still keep your left knee soft. Just feel the stretch at the top of the left thigh. And then bend your left knee in towards you. And open your left knee to the left and place the left ankle on top of the right thigh. palms either down or resting on your abdomen, as you just sway both knees from side to side. Your hips will lift as you go from one side to the other, and there's an invitation that your head might just slightly almost rock across the back of the skull. Not turning it so much, but just a gentle sway. And again, you're connecting into lots of acupressure points here on the back of the head, back of the skull. You tend to forget about the head. And then just very gently come to the centre. Hug the left knee into the chest. And very gently supporting the left leg, place the left foot on the floor. Palms either palms down or on your abdomen as you sway both knees gently from side to side again. Bring the legs back and the knees back to the centre. Make any adjustments to the left foot to be comfortable, and then hug the right knee into the chest. Taking a few breaths here, breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. And then very gently start to circle the right knee in one direction. So your circle can be tiny, or if you feel that your circle wants to be bigger, then make your circle bigger. This is one of the safest and most gentle hip exercises that you can do to maintain the health of your hip. Because in everyday life, walking or whatever we're doing, we don't often get that full rotational movement in the hip. It goes up and down when we walk, but it doesn't rotate like this. And the hip joint is rotational, has a rotational movement aspect to it. We don't really use that. And then just circling the right knee in the opposite direction. And then hugging the right knee into the chest again. And dropping the hands below your right thigh, clasping your hands perhaps. Keeping a bend in your knee at any time. Begin to straighten your right leg. You keep your knee soft and extend your right heel. And just feel that stretch along the sciatic nerve aspect of that as you extend your heel. And then just point and flex your right foot a couple of times. And then begin to circle the right ankle in one direction. And then circle the right ankle in the other direction. And then begin to walk your hands up the back of your right leg. Again, you can keep your right knee soft. And where your hands stop, it might be just below the right knee. That's fine, that's good enough. Just check that your chin's not shooting up to the ceiling. If it is, you've gone too far. Just bring your chin down slightly. And then just very gently slide your hands back down the back of your right leg and bend your right knee into your chest once more. Now supporting your right knee, open your right knee to the right and place your right ankle on top of your left thigh. Your hands can be on your abdomen or palms down alongside you. As you begin to sway the knees gently from side to side. Your hips will lift slightly as you go from one side to the other. And just keep your head relaxed heavily on the ground, but just slightly sway your head. It will be a natural somatic style movement, no great turning. But just give the weight of the skull, back of the skull to the ground, and just let that movement relax into. And then very gently come back to the centre. Hug the right knee into the chest. Keep the right knee hugged into the chest, holding it with the right hand. And then let the left knee join it. So you're hugging both knees into your chest. Just gently rock slightly from side to side, to either side of the very lower back, top of the bottom. And then coming to the centre, hugging the knees into the chest. And we're going to go the opposite way. Let both knees drift away while you're holding them to arm's length. And then hug both knees into the chest. And carry on doing that to your own breath pattern. As we go over the lower back, massaging it, and particularly at the L4, L5 lumbar vertebra. And those two vertebrae are the ones that take all the heavy duty movement for everything that we do. And they're so often the ones that can be implicated with vertebrae being a bit strained or out in lower back issues. It's very soothing. Again. It impacts the blood flow to the head. So you may find that as you're pulsing along your lower back, the blood is being almost goes up into your head because the back of the neck is long. So there's a direct pathway almost flooding the brain, well, not the brain, but flooding up into the head where the blood vessels are. Next time you've got your arms away from you, your knees away from you at arm's length, open the knees in a V and then circle them around so that they meet, hugging your knees into your chest. Breathing in, let the knees drift away to arm's length. Open them as like a V or a circle and circle the knees outwards, meeting up, hugging into your chest. Again, let the knees drift away to arm's length. Open the knees, circling them and bringing them back to hugging in towards the chest. Just do a couple in your own breath time. And next time your knees meet in, hugging into the chest, open your knees wide and then circle them upwards so that your knees meet with your arms away from you to arm's length. Hug the knees into the chest together, open the knees when they're hugged into the chest, and then circle. So you're reversing your circle so that the knees meet at the top, up to arm's length. Hug the knees back into the chest together, open in a V, close to your body, and then circle them back to meet at the top. I hope that makes sense. So you're reversing your circle. The back can take a good 15 to 20 minutes to begin to trust and begin to let the muscles relax properly. But then, of course, the flip side to that is that if you keep someone on the back for too long, they get a bit fed up, so there's that fine point. And then just hugging both knees into the chest. Breathing in, raise the left foot up to the ceiling and the left arm behind you. Extend the left heel. Breathing out, hug the left knee into the chest. And breathing in, extend the right leg up. Extend the right heel and right arm behind. Breathing out, hug the right knee into the chest. Come back to the left side, in your own time you extend your left leg, extend your left heel and left arm behind you. You can go really back to the floor or wherever you feel comfortable. When you're ready, come to the right side. And then once more to each side in your own time, your own breath pattern. Hugging both knees into the chest. Drop your hands behind your thighs. Maybe clasp them and just raise both legs, but make sure you're supporting the backs of your legs. Your knees are soft and you're just swaying from side to side like a piece of seaweed in the water. We've been doing effectively inversions with your legs up, and that is again one of the movements for the back, for perfect back health, optimal back health. So we've done extension, standing up, lateral from side to side, we've done rotations, we're doing inversions. Believe it or not, we've done back bends because you're lifting up from the chest is a back bend. So we very gently covered all the back movements for perfect health, but with not straining the back. And then finally hugging the knees into the chest. And we're going to come to roll to the side or come to a seated position, however that works for you. If you don't particularly like sitting cross-legged and sit with your legs out in front of you, we're going to be coming to cat-cow in a seated position. So just make sure that your knees are comfortable. Okay, hands wherever to support you. It helps you to lift up. So as you breathe in, lift up. This is a back bend here because you're lifting from the chest. Breathe out, chin to chest as you round your forward bend. Breathing in, sitting up. And breathing out, rounding chin to chest. And just do that a few times. So the extension of the spine, then the forward movement of the spine as the chin comes to the chest, activating the vagus nerve, so anti-inflammation. And again, we're giving movement all the way along the spine, but very supportive, lifting up. You can even lift your chin up, and then breathing out. Breathing in, and breathing out. Stretching the back of the neck, so again, blood can go into the head. It's rejuvenating, it's relaxing, anti-inflammation. Any forward bend is calming to the nervous system. But then if you ask someone to come forward and they really keep them forward for too long standing up, some people get dizzy in the head. So it's just, again, everything's a balance. And then make the next one the last one. And coming upright. Support your legs onto the thighs to lift your legs up and stretch them out in a V. Lift the flesh out from under your bottom. And just rub your legs or back them. Just really enjoying the stretch. You're now stretching the inner thighs. which can often get underused. And then sitting up and hands just slide. Feel that you're lengthening the chest and feel that you're leading with the chest bone. Your hands down your legs. And when they've reached where you think that, no, that's it, that's good for me, then just relax forward. Let everything go. You can, it's nothing to do with anything other than anatomy. If you've got long arms, which I have, it's quite easy for me to hold my big toes. But it's purely, if you haven't got long arms, then, as I said, you can't do it. So just have your hands then resting on your shins. As I said, people, it is entirely to do with, long legs or long arms or whatever. So the breath is going into your back. You're encouraging and mentally breathing into your back and breathing into your kidneys. The forward bend is bringing your head forward, so your chin comes into your chest, and that's something, there are energy holds in the body, and the chin to chest is activating something called the Jalandhara Bandha, which is an energy. There are three main bandha holds in the body, and this is one of them. So if you bring your chin to your chest, I don't quite know why, but if you breathed out and held your breath with your head upright and counted the seconds, and then you did it again with your chin to your chest, you would do it longer. So if you have to hold your breath ever, then chin to chest gives you a little bit longer. The chin to the chest activates the vagus nerve, which is complex, but the vagus nerve is implicated in inflammation, so this is quelling inflammation. So it's calming for the nervous system. And if you extend your heels, you'll feel the inner muscles along the inside of your leg engage. And those inner muscles are very much connected to the element of fear. If they're not, often it feels very vulnerable, the inner part of the leg. And again, just connecting the awareness of that. And then very, very gently sliding the hands up, coming up, and coming to once more a loose crossed leg position. Just place the hands to either side of the head, so that's one of the first Reiki positions. Thumb behind the ear. Just really connecting to the head energy. You're almost cradling your head, as it can be deeply soothing. And then it doesn't matter which hand, but bring one hand to the forehead and one hand to sort of just the back of the skull. Is the occipital?
Occipital.
Occipital.
Just above the your neck joins your skull.
Thank you, Sue. Bring your head forward if you need to, but press with your hand on your forehead and press on the back of the skull, so you're almost bringing everything together. Taking a couple of breaths there. And then keep your hand at the forehead and drop the hand at the back of the skull to the chest, so you're going to come upright a little bit more. And feel that it's difficult to slouch in this position. There's a length between the chest. Again, you're uplifting the chest, which is so good for depression. If anybody ever does suffer from depression and you're having a down day, then lying on the floor, your legs can be bent, but having support underneath your back, so basically your chest is extended, just lifting up from the chest, however you do that, but whatever support you take under your head, there are different ways of doing it, and staying there for a few breaths is massively uplifting for the mood. Take your hand away from your forehead and drop that hand to your navel. And this will emphasise the antidepressant uplifting mood, particularly on dreary days, even more. So you're almost hand at the chest and hand at the navel. And imagine a piece of ribbon or golden light or silver light, you choose, but that ribbon or light is straight, it's not kinked. So again, you won't be slouching. And you can either stay like this to have a thought for the day, or if you prefer, you can bring the hand from the abdomen to the heart. And just have a thought for the day, particularly as it's Valentine's Day, which I've totally forgotten about. So a loving thought for anybody, for yourself, for anybody close to you. And while we're sitting here, I'm just going to read you a very short poem, and it's called Open Your Heart. If you need to stretch your legs out, please do. Remember this, my friend. It is not the feet that take the first step forward. It is not the hands that engage in an act of grace. It is not the mouth that speaks words of kindness. It is not the ears that listen to the words of wisdom. It is not the eyes that appreciate the beauty all around. It's not the mind that can reflect in silence. All of this becomes possible only because of the light in the heart. A gift from the divine revealed to us. Don't forget, my friend, open your heart. Honour your teacher, embrace the divine, and her light guide you through word, act, and thought. Namaste. So that's a little